I'm sure they're gonna figure it out. It's a family of men we've got on this planet. There isn't one life we can take for granted. Everybody has a mark to leave, a difference to make. Our backs may be against the wall, but our spirit will not break. Is it someone you know, or only a stranger? If we stop to ask, then we're all in danger. It takes guts to rise each morning and look this thing right in the eye. The solution starts with love and a dream that will not die. We're all in this together. There isn't any doubt. We're all in this together. There's no one we can do without. And we'll never give in till we knock this thing out. Every star will shine forever. We're all in this together. Don't you ever lose hope. That's our silver lining. As long as we don't forget, we can reach the horizon. Here's to everyone who's brave enough to keep fighting for their life. Here's to everyone that's working hard to shed a little light. We're all in this together. There isn't any doubt. We're all in this together. There's no one we can do without. And we'll never give in till we knock this thing out. Every star will shine forever. We're all in this, singing with me together. All in this together. All in this together. There isn't any doubt. We're all in this. We're all in this together. We can go further. There's no one we can do without. And we'll never give in till we knock this thing out. Every star will shine forever. We're all in this together. We're all in this
We're going to create a little alternative reality here at the Beyond Law show, here at WPA this weekend. And I need your help to do this. We're going to project into the future a little bit, all right? Now, not too far into the future, because otherwise I think it gets much too depressing, okay? Now, as you all recall, 8 years ago, in April of '93 when 2 million queer people gathered in Washington, D.C. It's created an enormous firestorm of change really across the country, launched us on many, many years in which people of color, queers, women made really enormous, enormous advances until finally, in the year 2000, last year, the United States elected the first black lesbian president of the United States. Okay, now this is where I need your help, of course. Now, we are no longer here at the glamorous, if somewhat bohemian basement of the Washington Project for the Arts. We are now across town at the Kennedy Center. Oh, well. Now, we're there. This is the inaugural gala of the first black lesbian president of the United States. Now, she has appointed me Performance Art Laureate of the Nation.
We're all very aware of the activities of organizations like ACT UP and Grand Fury, who do extremely excellent political work with placards and public action. There's also been an extreme effect on artists. This whole crisis has really brought to bear on every type of art experience. A lot of the artists are dealing with conceptual art or expressionist art or photography, and what we wanted to do was really get a cross-section. We only have 26 artists in this show, but we could have had 100.
Why are you here today at the Holocaust Museum for the candlelight vigil?
Well, we lost our friends to this disease, which is another Holocaust that's happening right here, right now, and they were all supposed to be here, and they're not.
So it's very personal. It's a very personal thing. What would you like to see Clinton do for the AIDS crisis?
I'd like to see some emphasis made on saving this generation that we're losing through healthcare reform and more fundings for AIDS organizations, anything. More money needs to go in that direction because we're losing our families.
We assemble here as an army of truth and purpose. For those imprisoned by prejudice, for those liberated by pride, let this be a call not just to arms, but to hope. For those whose lives or talents have been lost, let this be a call to remember and to act. For those who we pray will learn and grow, and then join us in tearing down the walls of oppression, let this be a call to conscience.
I think President Clinton will sign the executive order lifting the ban. I think we had a few setbacks, started too early, didn't have all the ducks lined up, but I think we're getting there, and I think by this summer we will be able to do that, and the president will be on solid ground at that point, and we'll go forward.
At this point, the decision is in the hands, I think, in both the House and the Senate, I'm sure of this in the House, of a lot of my colleagues who agree with us that the ban is not a good idea, but who are afraid politically of the implications of voting for us. If we can persuade people that it's okay to vote that way, they'll vote that way, which means that the outcome will be decided by how many letters gay men and lesbians and our friends and relatives and supporters write. And I really, people said to me, well, gee, that sounds kind of like a pallid way to influence people. I've asked people to say, well, what would you say were two of the most influential organizations with Congress? The National Rifle Association and the AARP are always on the list. They write letters. That's what they do. There are other things that are important as part of your overall movement, but to influence Congress in the short term on a particular piece of legislation, the mail and the visits to members of Congress from people in the district is overwhelmingly the way to do it.
Tell them where we're at.
Well, we're in Washington, D.C. at a gay and lesbian country western hoedown.
And what do we have to say, bud?
Yeah! What does the march mean to you personally?
gay rights. Rights for people, rights for everyone.
Now, since we're here at a hoedown, I have my last question is what do you attribute the popularity of country and western dance in the gay and lesbian community?
It's not loud, it's not disco, it's not a drug scene where you go out, everybody gets along. If you notice, everybody's friendly to everybody else. And doesn't matter if it's straight, gay, or anything. It's just a real relaxed atmosphere.
Does it bother you that Clinton's not going to be in town this weekend, or? Yeah, I wish he was.
I think he should have changed his plans.
Being here, it's like, it helps. You can't explain it. You just really can't.
Do you think the march will do anything for us politically overall or for you individually in Colorado?
Show that we're here and we're going to stay.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree, and this way people can understand who we are and what we are, and there should be no more discrimination at all.
You know, they cling to their closets because it's sort of like the way that hostages, you know, take to their captives. They're lulled into a false sense of security.
Well, then give us a sense of what's going to happen for the rest of this decade. Are more powerful people going to come out, and do you have a real sense of particular people who are going to come out and make a difference in terms of their coming out, or are they going to go deeper in the closet?
No, I think a lot more people are going to come out. I think we're already seeing lots of people, you know, in the power structures in New York, in the media world, and in Hollywood, in the studios. People like Geffen have come out. Washington will take a while, but I think that Silicon Valley and its corporations are going to play a big role. Those people are very out of the closet. The gay people in the industry are highly organized, and now Washington and Silicon Valley are merging, and Hollywood and interactive media in Silicon Valley are merging. So I think we're going to see a lot of out-of-the-closet people as leaders.
Activists know, and everyone who's ever worked in an office is sure that if there are any gay people in that office, if there are any gay people in that schoolroom, if there are any gay people in that workplace or store or assembly line or factory or anything, that the whole complexion of that situation changes. And it is possible to organize people. I don't mean organize them to go out with banners necessarily, but to be supportive and to sort of count themselves in a certain position of solidarity. And the condition for that, the precondition for that, is coming out.
And I think that what's certainly been the most gratifying to me is going to conferences and so forth and standing up and saying, hi, I'm here with the National Lesbian and Gay Journalists Association, and having people run up to me and say, oh, thank God you're there. Thank God, I thought I was the only one. Where do I find out? How do I get a hold of you? You know, and we get letters from journalists in, you know, podunk, Heartland newspapers who are desperately trying to sort of connect with other people because they feel so isolated and alone.
I pledge myself to recognize your needs and to encourage your full potential and to love you even as I love myself. May love dwell between you and me forever.
How was today for you?
Exciting.
Really?
Very exciting.
Very emotional. Very emotional.
How long have you planned to do this?
Just for a few months.
Really?
Yeah, when we knew about the march and the wedding that was going on, we decided to get married.
How long have you been together?
7 months.
7 months. Oh, so this is this is nice. Okay. What kind of things do you plan?
Well, I plan holy unions for gay couples, and I also plan gay parties and special events.
Now, how would a holy union party differ from, let's say, a straight wedding?
Well, what's very wonderful about working with gay couples on holy unions is that there are no traditions to follow, and the couple is much more involved in planning their ceremony than traditional straight weddings. So the couple can have poetry and have personal statements, they can have friends participate, and they're really doing it for each other and not for their family.
What have you found when planning these things as far as the families are concerned? Have you come against any obstacles? Or?
Actually, surprisingly, the families have been really supportive. A lot. In fact, it's actually brought families closer because sons or daughters will approach their parents and say they're having this holy union and would they please be there? And the parents generally show up, and it brings the families closer, and it brings a new understanding to why gay couples want to commit to each other.
A city that's very divided right now, where racial tension between different social classes and neighborhoods is at an extreme.
How do you deal with the gay issue when you get to this level? I mean, everybody, you ran as an openly gay candidate the first time that you ran, which a lot of these folks in here, they came out after they got elected. So you've been open all along. How does the gay issue play out in a mayoral race?
Well, it's interesting, and I think if it were my first entry into politics, it would play out quite differently. In 1985, there was a lot of very direct homophobia and attacks, and the attacks actually were helpful to me because it galvanized my supporters into recognizing, wait a minute, we don't want our city to have that kind of tone.
And you won by how many votes then?
A whopping 11 votes. Out of 38,000, I won by...
Every vote makes a difference, folks.
And for a long time, the politicians in Washington have been telling you what not to do in your bedroom and not telling our kids what they ought to know in the classroom to be competitive. You want to change that? And you can't imagine the ways that the people in the status quo tell you that you can't change. You can't believe the excuses that they come up with why we can't change this country and make it a better place.
Well, it's Saturday at noon. We're at the Capitol right behind me for Hands Around the Capitol, which is being sponsored by ACT UP. And I'll make it simple. We're going to go find out why some people are here.
Well, about a year ago, I got really active politically with just AIDS funding and research and as many demonstrations as I can get to. I think it's important for me to be here.
Why did you decide to become an activist?
Well, I'm 21, and I've never known a time when AIDS and other STDs was not, a part of my decision-making whenever I decide to have sex, and it's just something that I don't think anyone can ignore much, especially people in my generation.
When will everyone realize there has never been one single illness that has ever been cured at NIH? Why do we continue to put all our trust and hope in NIH? NIH is incapable of operating in time of crisis, emergency, or plague.
You never know the way fate is going to come down. I don't have to tell anyone here that. I know that. But one of the things that has happened to us traditionally for years, forever perhaps, is that we have been rewritten in history. If we do things that are valued in our society, they are left out of history. The fact that we were gay, they'll talk about what we do. They'll say, you're a great person, and they will say, but we won't mention that they were gay. We won't say that she was a lesbian. We won't damage them by making that comment. And if we are rather notorious, if we do things that society even eventually judges as to be unpopular or disflattering, well, maybe after 10 years the book comes out saying, well, J. Edgar Hoover was a homosexual after all. What can you expect? It is up to us to begin writing our history, and that is why we are here today. A wall. A wall has been opened here, like a closet door that's been sprung off its hinges. As you leave, as you exit the closet, is I can be killed with ease. I can be cut right down, but I cannot fall back into my closet. I have grown. I am not myself. I am too many. I am all of us.
Well, we're here at the SM conference in Washington, D.C. for the March on Washington, and we're here with Dave Rhodes from the Leather Journal. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Having a good weekend?
Actually, I'm having a blast. We got here late Thursday afternoon. Have had a lot of fun. We went to the drummer dance last night. We've been to a lot of things. We can see a lot more people here now, it seems, than were here for the first march.
You guys seem to be definitely in the forefront of all the information in leather and with the magazines. How are the magazines doing these days?
Doing well. Our new one, Queer, is a quarterly. That came out in October. So in October and January now, this issue here, we have here, it's not even in the stores yet. It's been shipped. So that's how fresh that one is. Careful, the ink might be wet.
Well, I think if you are a part of the leather S&M community, it's important to be in an organization that helps promote GMSMA the goals of safe, sane, and consensual, and also being out here with a political presence. We're not only into teaching about technique, but we're also a political presence.
What's the biggest thing that GMSMA has done for you?
Brought me together with other people like me. That gave me an opportunity that I'm not the only one that feels and needs this kind of sexual expression.
What I'd like to see happen in particular for the gay and lesbian, Latino and Latina community is that we develop our own national organization, we strengthen our national organization and develop our own national agenda so that we can also sit at the table and have our issues presented and heard.
Okay, and who do you sort of consider, I mean, who are the emerging leaders of the community besides yourself?
Well, there are many of us. I don't think we have the same type of hierarchical structure and the same type of patriarchal structure as many of the gay and lesbian organizations do. Women play a dominant role in the gay and lesbian Latino community, and I'm just one of many.
Tell us how you find gay and lesbian issues are being received in the larger Latino and Latina community.
You know, it's not any different. And actually, I was interviewed by someone before who was saying, well, you know, that the Latino community is so homophobic, blah, blah, blah.
Name one that's not.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, well, listen, you know, you want to know something? Puerto Rican gays and lesbians have marched in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, the big Puerto Rican parade, for the last 3 years without any problem, you know, and if we equate that to other ethnic groups that have had enormous problems trying to march in their parades, you know, there's a little progress there. So what we say is like homophobia is present everywhere at the same level. You know, the problems with sex roles and with perceptions of homosexuality and lesbianism are the same in every culture. We are oppressed in every culture that coexists in this country.
Oh, we were just finishing, and they're kind of releasing a little energy here in back of us. Well, we just finished our Asian Pacifica Lesbian Network meeting.
How many members do you have?
Well, we don't keep, it's not exactly a membership organization. What it is APLN is a loose network of different people across the country. Some are involved in local, regional groups, and some are just individuals in different cities. But we came together to try to increase our visibility and try to come up with formalizing a network, some kind of a organization or structure so that we can be meeting on an ongoing basis.
Do you think that you'll have a lot of visibility at the march and that will move you forward?
Yes, definitely. This year our contingent is larger than ever. Our movement is growing. We're growing from the last time I was here in '87. There's so many more Asian lesbians here. The men are out in force as well, and we're doing things together and apart, but we're here.
Hi, we are here outside the Listener Auditorium on the campus of George Washington University, where right inside there is the second of 3 concerts called Harmonic Convergence, featuring the talents of such groups as the Washington Gay Men's Chorus, the New York Gay Men's Chorus, and at this particular performance, the musical trio Betty is emceeing the event. Let's go inside and take a listen to Betty.
And I'll do it once, and then we can start singing it all together, okay?
One queer youth marching can make the mountain move. 2 queer youth marching can make the mountain move. All queer youth marching can make the mountain move. Let's all march together. Ready? Go! One queer youth marching can make the mountain move. 2 queer youth marching can make the mountain move. All queer youth marching can make the mountain move. Let's move mountains together. How about shouting? Okay, you ready?
So, what do you think about what's happening here today?
I think it's excellent. I mean, I've been out for a couple years, and living in D.C. I mean, we need a lot more stuff like this, so that we can have more kids in the city can stop making, a fag, a dyke, and start being, more open to know what's going on.
I'm really excited about it, and I think it's just going to be a wild event. This is the first time there's ever been a youth speaking event like this that I know of.
Sure. I wish I would have had this when I was growing up. I was out very young also, and I think, as well as you probably, it's very beneficial for them.
Right. Well,
they deal with everything early on.
Right? Exactly. Well, when I first came out, I was 15 years old, and I just turned 23 yesterday, and it's like, it's amazing how much has happened since when I first came out to what's happening right now.
Well, Jeannie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
They're doing meeting groups here. What kind of issues will they be discussing within these little meeting groups?
Well, they're going to discuss issues that are relevant to the young people. Some of it is how they are empowered, how they have a voice in this movement. Some of it is about their diversity and the issues that face them. In New York, for example, 80% of the young people we serve at Hedrick Martin are gay and lesbian youth of color. And so they have special issues that they want to bring to the table. There are regional issues that need to be talked about. So I think that the meeting also gives a chance for young people across the country to meet each other. And the most important thing is there's a dance.
Well, the Gay Games is based on what I call a partnership model of sport, in which you respect your opponent, you use their excellence to inspire you to be excellent as well, rather than seeing them as an enemy to conquer or defeat. I participated in the Gay Games in '82, and I appreciate that model, as well as, of course, it's wonderful to be with thousands and thousands of lesbians and gay men who feel open about being who they are in a sporting context. Because often in sports, like I played college basketball and also professional basketball, and while there are lots of lesbians, there's also lots and lots of homophobia. So it's just a huge breath of fresh air to play, in my case I did swimming in the Gay Games in '82, without any of that homophobia.
I am off the wall. It's the most incredible weekend I can ever remember in my life.
What are some of the things you've been up to this weekend?
Well, we have 86,000 coming from Los Angeles. And we're all sort of getting together and playing and working and marching and hands around the Capitol and fundraising and everything like that. And
you gotten any sleep? A chance to eat, maybe?
I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to miss any of it.
Now, how do the Gay Games tie in with civil rights, would you say, in your eyes?
I think there's a very strong tie-in. I mean, we say games can change the world, and Martina Navratilova, who's a member of our host committee now, I think put it best, where said, that the Gay Games will change the way the world thinks about us. And I think that's what we all think. I think that in a lot of ways the Gay Games are a vehicle for change, for getting rid of all the stereotypes that people have about gays and lesbians not being athletes, for promoting positive role models, and really for changing, like Martina says, the way the world thinks about us.
I came out over a period of years. It was a gradual process. By the time I was ready to get out of football, I was open to a number of my teammates. But
how did they take it?
Not publicly.
Right, but how did they take it?
Well, most of them had recognized me as a 9-year veteran in the National Football League by then, and someone with some credibility, and they didn't have a problem with it at all. In fact, a couple of heterosexual fellows once said to me, he says, "David, find something really interesting, let us know."
Now, Gene, I understand that originally the event was structured in such a way that we were going to be having a tap ceremony, but a bit of a snag has been thrown into that. What will be happening?
Well, the snag is that we had two buglers who were going to perform echo taps for us. And these gentlemen have lived together for a long time. They're both honorably discharged military veterans. They choose not to be identified. And they were both HIV positive, and very recently one of them came down with full-blown AIDS, and they had to withdraw from the situation. We won't be having the tap ceremony, but we will be presenting and retiring the colors. We will have people coming up. We'll be inviting all participants to come up and speak the names of lesbian, gay, and bisexual veterans who've died not necessarily in the service of their country, but who simply served. And we want to make their efforts and their service known. We want it on the record.
They were soon to discover that the canceled buglers were not the only snag in their plans. The police were sent to stop the ceremony simply because of gay prejudice, but that did not stop people from paying respect without flags.
But we were here carrying the flag of our country respectfully. We should have been able to do that. Look, we have President Clinton in the White House. So we ought to have a friend over there. We ought to be able to do this ceremony tonight. This is ridiculous. I was good enough to serve my country in the Marine Corps. I was manifested on the first chopper to go into Tehran and get Sergeant Rocky Seckman of St. Louis, Missouri out of there, one of our 52 American hostages. When I did that, I was called a courageous and dedicated Marine. I'm still a courageous and dedicated American veteran, and I don't want to take this flag down there.
I'd like to know who the heck put Washington, D.C. under martial law, that American citizens are denied their just freedom of speech in an appropriate military ceremony.
What message would you like to send?
I'm upset that Clinton won't be here tomorrow. I'm upset with all the injustice in the world. And I'm very upset right now to even think clearly. I'm just very upset about the world we live in today that has such bigotry and hatred and prejudice.
Do you feel like your time that you spent in the service was in vain right now?
No, not at all. I'm very proud to have served my country.
And I think it's a freedom of expression for me to take the Marine Corps flag down those steps. That's freedom of expression. As long as I don't deface the wall, as long as I don't damage, it belongs to the taxpayers, and as long as I don't spray paint graffiti or deface it, as long as I'm respectful, freedom of expression, that's my way of showing support and compassion and care for those veterans who gave their life for this country. I should be able to march down there. It's that simple.
We're at the Ritz-Carlton on Saturday evening, where the March on Washington Committee is having their gala black tie affair to raise funds to pay for this march. What motivated you to do this march?
There was no choice, Everybody's driven to be here, and this is our year.
We need our rights. I'm tired of fighting. All of my life I've been fighting. So I want to fight until we don't have to fight anymore.
And, I just want my children to grow up in a world where they can be free. And I try to this is sort of, for me too, a little bit of walking my talk for my kids, because it's not the gender of the person you love that matters. It's the quality of the love that you have. So that's why I'm here.
Is it getting any easier for people in the entertainment industry, including actors and actresses, to come out of the closet?
I think it's really hard for a lot of people. And I would like to think that this will change and that more people will feel free. And if I can, in any way, my presence can affect people and encourage them, and to do that, I want to.
What are you going to be thinking about carrying that banner tomorrow at the front of the march?
I'm going to be thinking about Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and Fannie Lou Hamer and Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela and many of the people from my African American heritage, and how I know that many of them would be smiling upon me, proudly holding the banner for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights.
Thank you. We caught Scout outside here at the Ritz. Do you ever think you'd be here at the Ritz-Carlton at a $250, $500 event to support the March on Washington when you start this thing?
I definitely enjoy it. We've been organizing this for a long time, and I certainly am enjoying it now.
All right. Well, this is Saturday night before the march, so tell folks, this is going to be seen somewhat afterward. Tell people how you're feeling the night before the march.
Oh, crazy. I still haven't written my speech for the next day, and I know I'm going to be up all night long because our store is open 24 hours, and I need to help with the security and picking up the money and making sure people are flowing through it. So, but I feel wonderful. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in town. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, here I am, DuPont Circle, Saturday, 7 o'clock for the Dyke March. Yeehaw! We're having one of our own. It's sponsored by the Lesbian Avengers. So a lot of things going on, so let's just go check it out. Hey, why are you here today at the Dyke March?
Well, everybody just talked me into it, and I'd always wanted to experience it, so I had to show up. I wanted to see this many people in one place. I'm from Atlanta. And we had our march this year, but this is nothing compared to that. This is incredible.
I'm from Boston.
And why are you here today at the Dyke March?
Why am I here?
You're a dyke.
Yeah, I'm a dyke. I'm here to have a great time. I'm here because all my friends are here. I'm here because I want to tell the world that we're here and we're not going to go away.
What do you think is the significance of having a Dyke March along with the regular march tomorrow?
I think that there are things that are specific to lesbians that need to be addressed, and I think that it's important for women to come together to address those issues and to let the world know that we're committed to them.
What is the importance to you personally of being here this weekend?
It makes me feel powerful, it makes me feel strong.
Today?
Because we believe in equal and civil rights for dykes.
Whatever you might say about this weekend, don't ever let it be said that there wasn't something for everyone. Here we are in Chinatown outside of Tony Chang's restaurant for the Asian Islander and Pacific Social and Dinner Dance. Let's go inside and see what's on the buffet.
Right now, we are not a really political group, but if you consider like marching in the Pride Day, a political event, then we do a little bit of that. And recently, we just established a community project called Rice Bowl Project. We are going to provide kind of ethnic food for Asians or other people that are HIV positive if they request that. So this is one of the community things that we are doing now.
Where are you all from?
Columbus, Ohio.
Atlanta.
Pittsburgh.
And what do you think of this event here?
It's different. You never see this many people in one place at one time. It's unbelievable.
What is your role here tonight?
Well, I work with Indo-Chinese Community Center, ICC, and we provide AIDS and HIV information for the gay Asian community here in the district. We have all different languages, brochure with AIDS and HIV information in different languages. And that's what I'm here for. And we just want to remind the gay Asian community to practicing safe sex and still having a good time.
On Saturday night, the Gay and Lesbian Parents Coalition International had their due out here at the Hyatt Arlington. Gay and lesbian parents made famous by the Children of the Rainbow curriculum. Okay, and I've never seen so many strollers and in my life at a gay. How are you feeling about this event for you this weekend?
This is great. I mean, it shows for once and for all that we have families. We do not recruit kids, we have kids. And we have them through adoption, through foster care, through surrogacy. We have them from previous heterosexual marriages. We have them through alternative insemination. We have the children.
Okay, and Wayne and Sal and Hope, what's the best part about it these days?
Just seeing all the kids. This is just wonderful. When we all come together like this evening, it empowers us. It makes us feel that we really are part of the community.
Hope met a friend tonight who she hasn't seen since last summer's GLPCI conference, and she just like rekindled an old friendship, and it's really wonderful.
Who's your friend, Hope?
Tori.
Corey.
Yeah? Remember where Corey lives? Where were we? Remember?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, that's a long one. I can't even spell that one, Hope. And Hope, are you having a good time at this? You're going to march tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you out there.
Okay. But I'm going to be in my wagon.
What are your major goals these days?
To further the rights of gay and lesbian parents, to provide support for them in raising their children, and to put out information about who gay and lesbian people are and that we have family values and to provide a support and a network for that to happen.
What is your hope for this newborn child here?
Well, I hope that this newborn child can grow up in a society where he's respected and where his fathers are respected as well.
Well, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, you're projecting, let's say, 10, 15 years down the road when Sarah's in high school.
I think she's going to have her hands full. It's going to be rough. But as long as we keep loving our children and portraying to society that we are the same as everyone else and that difference is part of what we need to respect.
What difference does it make having a gay president of your school board?
It actually helps.
What's the most important thing that people who want to be parents in the lesbian and gay community need to know?
And they need to know that it can be done, because I think that knowing someone who's done it, knowing that it can be done, knowing that it's doable, that it's workable, that it can be great for the kids and great for the family, really helps people, be able to say, okay, I want to do this.
It's not just for black and white men. It's men of color and people who wish to date cross-cultural barriers. But what we want to do is let people know that there's a safe place where we can meet and talk out issues and do it in a way where we feel very comfortable, not feel threatened and all that.
Why is this organization, Black and White Men Together, important to you?
Because I think the whole issue of diversity is very important, just like the whole thing about resisting racism, sexism, homophobia. Those are important issues to different isms and stuff like that.
Would you say that racism is still strong in the gay and lesbian community?
Oh, most definitely.
My first lover was black, and he took me to my first meeting back in 1985, and I've never stopped coming. I thoroughly believe in what the organization what it stands for.
Now, would you say there's still racism in the gay and lesbian community?
Very much so, just like it is in the straight community. It's there in the gay community.
Any particular things that you've seen in terms of showing that?
When we go to gay bars, I have seen where black men have been asked for 3 or 4 pieces of photo ID, and I can just walk by the front desk and they wouldn't ask me a thing.
Remember our promise to each other. We agreed that when the revolution comes, we will make certain that everyone eats strawberries and dances in the moonlight in this paradise of freedom. We will rejoice.
We're here for the Havdalah service, which, if I understand it correctly, is the celebration that ends the Sabbath and starts at the beginning of the week.
That's right. That's right. The Havdalah service is traditionally held on a Saturday evening to end the Sabbath, which Jewish people observe on Saturday. So we hold it Saturday evening when the sun sets to celebrate how sweet the Sabbath has been and to think about the week ahead.
Now, I understand that you have dovetailed this event with the other events that have been going on this week of the 50th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
Right. Well, we feel like there were Jews and women and many lesbian and gay people who died in the Holocaust, and we feel that our movement for lesbian, gay, bisexual rights here this weekend is a movement of resistance, and Jews have a long history of resistance, and we're a part of that.
was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a thrill to be back.
Yeah. What's changed in women's music and all these kinds of things, and how has it grown?
A tremendous amount. There's a wonderful diversity of women out there singing from a life-affirming, woman-affirming place. All different styles of music. Wonderful, wonderful quality and experience now. It's thrilling to be back right now. Couldn't be better.
And how do you feel about being here for the march this week?
Oh, I'm totally knocked out by it. It's so exciting to be on the Metroliner, to be in the streets, to move through this town and feel that we own it.
Great performance. And what do you think about Margie Adams? We're talking to Romanowski and Phillips just before you're going out on stage here at the NGLTF fundraiser the night before the biggest civil rights march in the history of the United States. How long have you been at this, you guys?
We've been singing together for 11 years. We started in 1981 in San Francisco.
Yeah?
Yeah, 11 years.
What keeps it going?
We love what we do.
Yeah, more than anything, we love it.
And you finish each other's sentences. Now, what's funny about being gay these days?
Everything. It's always been funny.
I think the lifting the ban on gays in the military is going to give new meaning to the phrase militant gays, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. And we figure with Clinton lifting the ban on the gays, then that pretty much means that we're going to have a whole new career opening up for us, because we've always considered ourselves sort of a gay USO show. So now we're going to really go big with it, I think.
And Bob Hope is retiring, so that space is available.
There we go.
Now this is Skippy. Skippy, we don't have a line yet. Where's the line?
The line is coming. I think that once Madonna gets here, it's going to be a lot more crowded. And I thought that was her in the limo there, but it's not. So there's a lot of people showing up, and we're getting to a point where they're going to have to start slowing it down because there's so many people inside.
All right. The man in the cowboy hat. Where are you from?
Well, I've been saying Texas, but New Jersey.
Yeah? Really? New Jersey. you ruined that for me.
North Dallas, New Jersey.
So how long are you willing to wait in line?
I hope not too long.
Yeah, where are you from?
Tampa.
Tampa. So what do you think about what's happening this weekend?
That's great.
Yeah? Yeah, ready to march tomorrow?
You know it.
So, no, there are women in there. They're all playing volleyball, though. Is that all right?
No, I really wouldn't. But you could take us in and show us these women. This very moment.
So what do you think about this weekend?
My mother doesn't know I'm here.
Now, as far as the money's concerned being raised here, some of it does go to the march.
Oh yeah, large portions go to the march. We've been, for about a month now, we've had fundraisers here and there to raise money for the march, and that does not exclude this weekend as well. We're raising a lot of money for the march, as well as other organizations, Black, Gay and Lesbian Pride Day Committee for Washington, D.C. We raise a lot of money with them, and in the community, our neighborhood here, we spend a lot of money in our community as well.
How do you feel about all these people coming into town?
It's absolutely tremendous. The atmosphere has been electrifying in the city for at least 3 months. It's been building to this crescendo that we're feeling here tonight, and certainly we'll feel tomorrow. I just feel bad that we don't have enough space to adequately get everybody in and allow everybody to participate in the party.
Yeah, you putting up anybody at home?
Actually, I have a full house. I have 10 women in from out of town.
I'm going to be at her house tonight. We were sending karmic vibes, never met each other before in our lives. What are some of the things you've been doing this weekend?
I went to the Dyke March. I was the one that was up on shoulders, no shirt on. Woo! No shirt on. Saw the quilt. Saw the Veteran Memorial. Walked around. Feet are killing me.
Yeah, I bet. What's gay life like in Cleveland?
It's getting better.
Think we'll get anything politically out of this march, or do you think it'll be business as usual?
I think that this march is the turning point of the century. This is a very historic event because from this day forth, people will begin to look at each other in a totally different manner.
And where are you from?
from Durham, North Carolina.
Are you an honorary lesbian tonight?
I am tonight, actually. Last night we dragged our friends to a boy bar, I guess you'd call it, and tonight we went to a girl bar, which is very, very nice, very comfortable, very welcoming.
And you're having a good time. I mean, also, you got tons of boy parties around the corner, and you're here supporting your lesbian buddies.
That's absolutely, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because at least in Durham where we live, it's a very tight community. We do for each other, and there aren't hang-ups as to boys and girls. The power company that my friend mentioned is a very mixed club. Competitions is a women's club, but it's very welcoming.
What do you think of all this?
It's fabulous. It's wonderful. It's overwhelming. Anybody who's not here should be very disappointed, because to have your friends tell you about it is not the same as being here. It's really been amazing just being with so many gay people and gay-friendly people. It's great, especially if you're from New York.
What do you want to take from this weekend when you go back home?
What do I want to take from this weekend when I go home? I want to take the fact that that we are everywhere, and we are visible. We are part of the mainstream, and I hope that all of America and especially Middle America realizes that, and that we deserve our rights just as much as anyone else.
So what do you think of this whole weekend?
I think it's terrific. It's much, much bigger than 1987. And people are having a great time, and the energy level's terrific.
What do you want to come away from this weekend with?
Well, I'd like the nation to come away from this weekend with a real sense of how powerful our community is, and that we're a loving, wonderful people, and we're willing to be out. We're not going back in the closet ever again.
For the Gay Rights Dance, co-sponsored by the Human Rights Campaign Fund, the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, and the March on Washington. And if anyone is doing that theme proud, it's this crowd here tonight. Get a load. Woo! Well, the time here is just 11 floor is becoming real tight. So you can imagine what it's going to be like in a little while, but we're going to take a walk through the dance floor and talk to some of the people here.
I'm from D.C. originally, but I'm in Rhode Island now.
What do you do there?
I'm a school teacher, a high school teacher.
Are you? For what high school?
Well.
What do you want to go away from the weekend with?
Really a sense of community in the country. That's what I really want.
Great.
Is it? What's there to be so happy about?
Because I'm gay and I'm here and I'm with all my people and I love it.
The moment is finally upon us. It's 11:20 on Sunday morning, April 25th, and the National March on Washington for Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Rights has finally arrived. On the ellipse, sweeping down from the Washington Monument at 11:30 in the morning on April 25th, Sunday, as people search for their state contingents, their constituency contingents.
What's going to be the highlight of the march for you?
Probably when we reach the White House.
Have you had like a lot of emotional moments already? I mean, with yesterday's.
Just the whole trip has just been. We've had about a total of 5 hours sleep since Wednesday night when we left Oklahoma City, and that's what we're running on. We're running on the energy that is created in this space. It is incredible. We're all living off of it, and we'll make it through the rest of the day, and then we'll crash.
I have goosebumps. How about you girls?
Yeah.
Who says we're only 1% of the population, folks? 1% of the population is waiting on these lines here to go to the bathroom this morning. What do you hope to accomplish if you make it to the front of this line?
Going to the bathroom.
Come on now. This is the Pride March. What's the best part of being a lesbian in America today?
The best part is that things are happening, things are changing, and we're going to make things change.
Hope is what brought you to the District of Columbia today. Hypocrisy is what you have received. The people you voted for have fled the city. Ordinarily, you asked them to represent you. Today, you must represent yourselves. You asked them for help, and they fled the city, polarized by fear. For fear abounds, hope must prevail. Where hate abounds, love must prevail. Many political leaders, polarized by fear, took a vacation with no place to go, hiding in the political closet of fear.
And you guys are sitting here where it's just noon and the march is going to become. What are you hoping to see today?
Well, we're hoping to see people from all over the United States and possibly the world marching today. Yep. All kinds of people from all walks of life.
And what's the best thing about being gay in the United States today?
Well, it's being able to express yourself and don't have to worry about your fear and everything like that.
Your party's being taken over by religious anti-gay zealots?
Actually, I believe the term is Christo-Nazis.
And what hopes do you have for reclaiming the party from your point of view?
I think, for example, in my county in Colorado, which had been Republican since 1948, went Democrat in the last election. And I believe this is a message to Republicans everywhere that we have got to go back to being strict constitutionalists. If we believed and used the Constitution correctly, none of this would be necessary.
I live in Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I'm originally from North Carolina.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what brings you out here today?
Just because it's my people.
Yeah? What's the best thing about being a lesbian in America today? And how has it changed for you over the years?
Gosh, I don't know. Ask her.
Yeah,
she
ask
knows
her.
better.
Well, I think it's changed a lot over the years.
What's your name, first of all?
Beverly Brown.
And you're from?
I'm from Falls Church, Virginia. It's changed a lot for me since I first came to Washington because I can sit here and talk to you and not be afraid to do that. So that's the big change.
Great. And how old are you, ma'am, if you don't mind me asking?
69.
And how long have you been a lesbian?
All my life.
And just a few seconds here before the march was about to begin, right here in front of the White House, cops on horses have moved in to clear everybody out from Bill Clinton's side of the street. And what's the best part of being gay for you today?
The best part of being gay today is this. You look around you, you see these people, they're all my people. There's a bond, there's a love that I have. This is my family.
Second group coming forward after that first banner is Old Lesbians Organizing for Change. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Isabel Wills from Miami, Florida.
And how old are you?
75.
And how long have you been a lesbian?
Oh, most of my life.
Most of your life?
Yeah. Honey, I didn't know it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just found out about 10 years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
How are you enjoying it?
I love it.
Great.
Wouldn't change it for anything.
We're in the PTA. We're proud. We're gay. 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 We're in the PTA. We're proud. We're gay.
What's your name and where you're from?
Elizabeth from Durham, North Carolina.
And how old are you?
73.
And how long have you been a lesbian?
Since 1974. I came out at 55.
Yeah? And what's the best thing about being a lesbian in the United States today?
To be right here.
Not all moms and dads are straight. 2, 4, 6, 8.
What's your name and where you're from?
My name is Maya Taffy, and I'm from Rockville, Maryland.
Rockville, and why are you here today?
Because my mom is a lesbian, I'm proud of it. Woo!
Here you are. Here's the big moment. What's your message for Bill Clinton today?
Please recognize our families and stop the discrimination.
What's your message to people who say, well, we're a threat to the family?
I don't know how I'm a threat to anyone's family. I'm just trying to get my family by.
Think about the march today.
I think it's wonderful.
Yes?
Yes.
What do you hope happens afterwards?
That they decide to let us be equal with everybody else.
And where are you from?
Philadelphia.
DC.
Yes.
Menlo Park.
Yeah. What do you think about today?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
What do you hope happens after the march?
That Clinton ends the lift on ban of military. And at least if that happens, I'll be happy.
I'm writing on the street.
With chalk?
Yeah.
What are you writing?
Chalk. I'm writing a lot of stuff. Here I'm writing good and gay.
Yeah? And that's good, huh?
Yeah.
to find a cure.
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
What's your message for Bill Clinton today?
He'd better get on the ball and appoint an AIDS czar. We need help now.
So you're expressing yourself very well today.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. What do you think about the march?
I think it's great. Yeah.
What do you hope happens after today?
I hope the ban is lifted.
Just the ban? Equal rights?
Equal rights, everything else, anything. That's good.
Great. Thanks. So, Dick Sargent, what do you think about this today?
Oh, it's a joy. God, it's a joy. It's just one of the happiest days of my life.
What do you hope happens after today?
I hope the gay rights issue in the military gets through. I hope that the gay rights issue and for gays in general, I mean, gets through too. I hope that people realize that we're on the football field as well as off, and that we're everywhere in society. It's time that people realize that we're part of America too. We deserve what everybody else has.
What do you think about Bill Clinton? Do you think he's following through with his promises? Or?
Well, I think he's been slow, but I have every hope that he will do what he said he was going to do. I'm sorry he's not here today. He's missing one of the happiest days you could ever have.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What time? Do you have a time?
I think that everybody has to recognize that we're here, we're queer, and that the level of discrimination that we all face as lesbians, gays, bis, and transsexuals, we're facing that even more so as disabled people in this society. And we want our own community to be aware that we're here and to open up and have the room for us to be with us.
What's your message for America today?
I'm here to let my voice be heard. As a 17-year-old lesbian, I've experienced injustice in this world, and I want the country to know what it's like to be young and gay.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name's Lynn Duff, and I'm from San Francisco.
Why are you here today?
Because I'm proud of who I am, and I wanted to celebrate it with my brothers and sisters.
And when you go home to Tacoma, Washington, what are you planning to do to continue the fight for our rights?
Well, I'm the gay outreach worker for that town, and so it makes it a lot easier. We're opening a gay lesbian drop-in center when I get back, so that's what I'll mainly be doing.
It's really pathetic that they're actually allowed out here.
What do you think about this when you see all those hate signs?
It really hurts.
Your name and where you're from?
Mark Fisher. I'm from Boston.
And how old are you?
18.
And is it tough being out here when you're 18 years old?
Out here or just out?
You know, being out, yeah.
Yeah.
How come? What happens?
What happens? A lot of homophobic people bashing verbally and physically.
Yeah? And how are you able to be out here as opposed to most 18-year-olds?
Out in the gay community or out right here in Washington?
And marching for your rights out here in public and being on television and all that kind of stuff?
Took a little bit of work, but a lot of my friends helped me out, helped me get out here.
Where are you from?
From Northern Virginia.
Are you gay?
No.
So why are you here today?
Because I want my head counted as people who support the rights.
And when you go home, what do you plan to do to continue the fight for our rights?
Well, right now I'm just telling other straight people that I support it and they should too, and telling them why.
I always attend all those, and I go once a year for the Gay Pride parade. I get in this car with Eric, you know, and it's very, very lovely, fixed up, you know, in every way we can, and it's helped some, I think, break down some prejudices. But there's a lot still to be broken down.
I am proud of the fact that Eric is gay, and I'm glad that Eric is gay. Eric has exposed us to people, to a community that we only would have been passing in the night with. And we become part of it, and some of the most wonderful people that I've known have been people that I've known through Eric who are gay. And so he was right at that time. I don't know that he knew it, but now I know it.
Betty, what would you like to say to parents out there?
Well, I want to say that I think it's very important to support your children and to be there for them.
Eric, we've had the pleasure of talking to the two previous generations in your family. Your grandmother, who we see behind you, and your parents. You have a great family and a lot of wonderful support. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't take it for granted because... Hold on, Grandma, I'm being interviewed, Grandma. What can I say? She's 92 years old.
She said 93.
No, she's 92 and she was born in Washington, D.C. in 1901. Anyway, I don't take it for granted. I am very lucky to have parents that support me and my grandparents who love me, and I have 3 other brothers who also that couldn't be here that support me unconditionally. And it's really great being here because we really bring ourselves here as a celebration of our family, but also as an example for families all over the world, you know, with people just accepting and loving, you know, the people that are in their lives.
What's your message for parents today?
I think they have to learn to love their child and accept them as they are. After all, God created them. God doesn't make mistakes.
Thank you. How do you feel about being out here with your mom today? What's your name?
Mike. I'm one of the proudest kids in this march, I think. Yeah? It took a lot of courage for them to come out here and march, and I'm really emotional about it.
But there's a movement out there in the country spearheaded by Pat Robertson. He called the Equal Rights Amendment to the Iowa State Constitution anti-family. But I stand with you today because the preamble to the United States Constitution begins with the words, "We the people." And many have given their lives to ensure that these words embraced every single American. Discrimination cannot be tolerated under any circumstances. And that's why the President's call for permitting gays and lesbians to serve our country by serving in the military is so important. It's got to be no segregation whatever, integrated completely within the armed forces of our United States.
How you feeling today?
A little hot, but great. The support's been fantastic. I can't believe military support among so many civilians.
What's your message for your commander-in-chief today?
Try to get the support of the country because he can't stand alone. His heart's in the right place, but he's got to solidify the support out there or he's going to be fighting a lonely battle. And we know all about lonely battles.
Well, the same thing that, you know, in terms of the lifting the ban on gays, we need to lift the ban on women in combat. And there's just as much opposition in terms of, you know, it's the good old boys group, and the good old boys call the shots. I also think there's probably a conspiracy of generals getting together and going out and talking about gays not lifting the ban and also not allowing women in combat.
I'm here because I'm proud to be a gay veteran and a gay American, and I'm marching with all of these people who have given so much to America, and we want to be treated with the dignity and respect that all Americans deserve and all people deserve.
Been in the military for how long?
3.5 years.
And what were some of your duties?
I was assigned as a medic and as a journalist in the Army, both in Desert Storm.
Now, you were also given the Soldier of the Year award, is that correct?
That was March 16th.
Now, this is Sunday. We're at the march. You can hear them yelling in the background. Last night, what did you do?
I came out to the nation.
How did you do that? On what program?
There was a reception with the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, and I gave a speech at the very end of the reception coming out.
How did it feel?
It felt liberating.
How was life for you in the military, being in the closet? What kind of things did you do to get by?
I had to be very discreet. You have to be careful what you say, phone calls you receive, people you talk to, because any little action can make you suspect.
I really wanted to be a career person in the military, but I couldn't. For my own sanity, I couldn't do it.
I'm going to have to go back to my unit or wherever the Navy sends me. I'm looking forward to getting back to serving my country.
Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, dykes and fags, my brothers and sisters, please welcome to the stage the Combined Force Color Guard. And now, please welcome the highest-ranking openly gay official in this country. Long before it was front-page news, he was leading the fight to overturn the military ban against gays and lesbians. Please welcome Congressman Jerry Studs.
Look around you. This is a history that is worth fighting for. This is a history that is worth defending. And that is why we have armed forces. But some people seem to have forgotten what it is they're supposed to defend. It is not just a piece of geography. Every army does that. They're supposed to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The land of the free and the home of the brave. Well, look out here on the mall, Senator Nunn, General Powell. There are 1 million people here, Senator, and they're very, very brave.
Hey, Tracy, what's the progress on your case?
Still in the Navy right now, working a Xerox machine and hoping that sometime soon the president's going to make that all come to an end.
Yeah, what's your message for Bill Clinton today?
That he better move fast, otherwise he's going to be dealing with a very potent, powerful force.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
But this whole thing brings up a real moral dilemma for me, personally, because while on the one hand, I really believe that we should drop the ban on gays in the military, what I think we should really do is simply ban the military. Then everything would be fine. Be all that you can be. You can do it in the army. Be all that you can be, 'cause we need you in the army. Imagine.
Do you want the ban on lesbian and gays in the military lifted? Is this your country? Is it your right to serve? Well, if you believe that, then you're racist. Because this is the country that has enslaved Africans for hundreds of years, put my grandparents in Japanese American concentration camps, put Native Americans on reservations, and forces many Latinos to live every day in poverty and fear of deportation. This is the military that bombed 500,000 people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killed, raped, and tortured thousands in Vietnam, as well as Korea and Grenada, and bombed and placed inhumane sanctions in Iraq that killed over 200,000 people. So if this is your country, it's because you're white. When you talk about lifting the ban, you're telling me that non-white queers are expendable. Look at the fact that 60% of the military is composed of non-white people. Racist economics force us to join. We're the cannon fodder of America while having to kill our non-white sisters and brothers around the world. This movement started with a riot, and it needs to end with one. But all we can do is walk down the street and sit in a park. 1 million suicidal fools in one city. We won't fight for true liberation because that would mean fighting against capitalism and the United States government. It means revolution.
No matter what your political stance may be, it cannot be denied that gays and lesbians are already in the military. And no matter what color the skin, the price we have all paid for the silence is already too high. We must remember that no one is expendable.
In September of 1988, my son left for the United States Navy. And I thought I was the most proudest mother on the nation, that my son was going to follow my husband and my father's footsteps and join the Navy. On October 27, 1992, 2 sailors came to my door and told me my son had been beaten to death in a bathroom in Japan. They gave me no explanation of why. When asked questions, they told me they didn't know any answers. It took 6 weeks for them to tell me that my son had declared that he was homosexual to his captain on September 24th. 1 month and 3 days later, he was dead. I fear for every homosexual right now that's in the military. I fear that they may become another Alan Schindler. And the reason I'm speaking out is because I don't want any more Alan Schindlers. I don't want any mother to ever have to go through what I'm going through. I've been told that many mothers would have kept their mouths shut. They wouldn't have wanted the embarrassment of everybody in the nation knowing that their son was gay. But you know, you can mess with a lot of people and a lot of different things, and maybe I would have kept my mouth shut. But you don't mess with my kids.
Now, you did receive an award from the Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays last year, and how does it make you feel as a mother?
Oh, I feel just wonderful as a mother. Anything my kids do makes me happy, and finding somebody to love makes me the happiest.
Is your daughter marching today?
She's marching and watching.
Oh, there she is.
Right here with her
How are you? How are you? Now, I heard you speak at that Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays dinner. How are you both feeling today?
We're feeling great. We just got married yesterday.
Married just. It's just to be, and it is
and we're
just
here
to be
for justice today.
It is just to be married. Both say your names and where you're from.
Miriam Messinger, Boston.
Felicia Hayes, also from Boston.
Yeah, and what's your message for the man in the big house over there?
Get a clue. Get a clue and get serious.
Okay.
And fulfill his promises.
Stick to what you've said. Just do it.
Virginia.
And obviously you're straight, yes?
Yes, I am.
So what do you think of this parade today?
I'm very happy with it. I think that there's absolutely no reason to discriminate against
affects gays. I don't care if they teach my children, go to the, get married, get into the military. I don't see what people have to do in their bedrooms has anything to do with absolutely anything else they do in their lives.
That says it all. That's great. I like her. Great. Thank you.
I think this is a fabulous day. I think it's a fabulous day for America because it tells us that we have the availability and the freedom to be able to be gay or straight and march down the center of our capital. And we have the freedom to do that. And that there's a kind of feeling here that's not just about today, but about the future.
Hey, how does it feel to be here today?
Great. Really proud. I'm from Los Angeles. I can't be any place else more important in my life than here, right now at this time.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm gonna ask the kid.
Hey, how does it feel to be here?
Bye.
Hey, how does it feel to march today?
Well, I just came down here first time I ever did anything. And I hope my family's seeing now you know where I am.
At 2 o'clock today.
What's happening at 2 o'clock? The die-in.
That's right.
That's about 7 minutes.
All right, and everybody that you possibly...
Everybody's going to know their lines because all they have to do is fall down like 200,000 people have done already who won't get up the way we will. So when we get up fighting, and everyone who's within my earshot should be joining us because you've either lost someone or you're going to lose someone or you're going to die yourself. So get out in the streets with us. Act up! We got the votes, we get the shaft. Where's Bill Clinton? Shame on you.
Tell us your name and where you're from.
Frank Aquino, New Orleans.
Yeah, and what do you want to see happen in the White House out of AIDS?
I want to see him here, number one. We put him in office, we'll take you out of office. You've done nothing for us, nothing.
What kind of action you want to see on AIDS?
I want to see him move now. Appoint an AIDS czar that has some intelligence.
Any ideas?
Support the McClintock Project. Does he even know what it is? The McClintock Project is a project to cure AIDS. They often say that ACT UP is a disruptive organization. Here's a plan to end the epidemic. Let's do it.
Every 7 minutes, someone dies of AIDS. 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 Every 7 minutes. Every 7 minutes, someone dies of AIDS. Every 7 minutes, someone dies of AIDS. Every 7 minutes, someone dies of AIDS. Every 7 minutes, someone dies of AIDS.
Excuse me, what are you doing down here lying down in the middle of Pennsylvania Avenue?
We're lying down to show that men and women are dying everywhere of AIDS.
What's your name and where you're from?
My name is Helen DeFalco. I'm from New Jersey.
No matter how successful this this March for Lesbian and Gay Rights is today, the situation about the number of people who are dying of AIDS is not going to change one bit until the research establishment gets off its ass and starts working to find a cure in an organized and professional fashion. And that, of course, has been held up by 12 years of Reagan-Bush, but there are no more excuses. We've got a new guy in the White House, and he hasn't really made any initiatives on AIDS now, and that's why these folks are lying down on the street here today for 7 minutes, stopping this march to remind people of the gravity of that situation.
shame, 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 shame.
Steve Rosen from LA.
What are you so pissed off about?
He's not doing it. He's not living up to his promises. His nose is growing longer and longer and longer.
What do you want him to do?
I want him to change. I want him to get something. I want this money done so we can act out.
Give me some ideas.
Give me some ideas. Let's get this government and this people aware that we're alive. I have HIV. I don't know how long I live. I want to see my kids. I want to walk them down the aisle when they get married. I want to be part of their life. I want to live, and I can't live in a.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope he heard you.
Thank you.
The news says that we live in the age of AIDS, and our lives are consumed as we prepare to set the stage. What we're learning here today is who we're really sitting next to, and we look to our government, but they act like they don't know what to do. I've been listening to what's been given, and I can't stand no foolish attitudes about it.
People have written their own personal messages here on the Names Project quilt. Some of the messages that they've left are, please God, find a cure. My friends, my colleagues, and now my father, will it ever end? Always love you. Come bid, time return, call back yesterday. Dear Uncle Bob, we love and miss you.
My name is Jeff Daniel. I'm from Blackstone, Virginia.
And why are you carrying the AIDS Memorial quilt in front of the White House here today?
To show the president and everyone else here that there are many people who could not be at this march, and this is the only way they can be here. Right here are three of my friends who worked very hard on the march in 1987, and this is the only way they can march today.
God, please help us find a cure. We will survive. Dear Brent, I miss you, I love you, love, Mom. For all my dear friends and heroes, we won't let them forget, love, Logan. To my son, Larry, with all my love, C. Watkins. Michael, I miss you terribly and will love you forever, Bill. So many have gone, too many have gone. One was too many. Tell us what you wrote on the quilt here today.
I wrote, now and for always, I love you, Rhonda, who is my lover.
And what does it mean to you to write on this quilt here today?
It makes me part of a bigger group. I think if people are trying to express their feelings and legitimize them to other people who don't quite understand the way we feel towards other people of the same sex, so that they realize that we're not afraid to voice those feelings and show those feelings to others, and try to make them understand that they're just as significant as any other type of love.
Did you get a lot of support when she died from family and friends and colleagues and things?
Yeah, I did.
So there is hope for people in this country.
Yeah, there is, definitely. Sure.
I still have a dream. Yes. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream.
And what's your message for the gay and lesbian world out there today?
To be united.
I'm a black gay man. My great-grandfather was a slave. I'm a part of that dream, and so are you. The Jesse Helms who discriminates against HIV-infected immigrants in 1993 is the same Jesse Helms who discriminated against black school children in North Carolina in 1954. We're a part of the dream. The Strom Thurmond who tried to undermine the Civil Rights March in 1963 is the same Strom Thurmond who's trying to undermine lesbian and gay men in the military in 1993. We're a part of the dream. 15 years ago, Pat Parker asked, "Where will you be when they come?" "They will come in business suits," she said, "to buy your homes and bring bodies to fill your jobs." And I must ask you, where will you be? Pat warned that they would not come clothed in brown and swastikas. The time and need for ruses are over. Today, I must take assessment, look to you and ask, where will you be when they come? Because they are here.
We're coming to burn the whole city down. No.
But you're dressed appropriately. What do you hope happens after this weekend?
Well, that President Clinton will do what he needs to do, and that is to take care of business, you know? Yes.
All right, well, have a great weekend.
Is that the Reverend Magora Kennedy?
Oh, yes, it is. How you doing, baby?
How you doing?
Oh, baby, we've come through the years, haven't we?
We sure have.
I tell you, looking back to 1969, bringing it up to the present, isn't it beautiful?
It sure is.
All right.
What's your message today?
That's the message today. The day is, now is the time. It is our time now. By the year 2000, hey, we're going to have this nation.
And what's your message for the gay and lesbian community today and for America?
Stick together, work together, fight together, love together, build this country better.
Harold?
We can have our rights and we can have them now.
Great, thank you. What's your name and where you're from?
My name is Melina from Ottawa.
From Ottawa. And what's your message here today?
Well, we have to unite because we are a nation of one.
And what's the reception that you're getting here today among the Asian groups?
Oh, no questions about it. I'm part of the family.
What do you think about the march?
It's going great. Let's hope everyone's watching.
I think they are. What do you hope happens after this weekend?
Well, I hope everyone has the opportunity to realize that, hey, this is who we are and we're happy to be gay.
How do you think this community is dealing with diversity issues any better these days?
No, it's actually worse. I went to the Victory Fund celebration for appointed and elected officials, and there were, I think, 4 African Americans in the entire audience. It was all white males and lesbians, gay white males and lesbians. The diversity issue is a long way from being even talked about. Right. No one's sharing the stage right now.
Yeah?
No one's sharing the stage.
What's going to change that? What about here? I mean, today, you certainly see it. Don't you see it in the march today?
I think the march is very segregated by different groups, you know, there's white groups, there's minority groups. I don't see it being a very integrated activity, personally.
Okay. And the Human Rights Commissioner of the City of New York hopes to see a better day on that, I guess.
It will happen. It will happen. By just keeping at it, I guess.
We, as lesbians, we know what we've accomplished, and we'll continue changing the world, but we're refusing to be second place at this point, and either as women, as gay women, and as women with a progressive vision.
But as far as for gay men, we do not know a lot about lesbian history, and that seems to be the problem.
Come to the Lesbian History Archives or read all the books that are coming out. This is a renaissance time for lesbian and gay history. There's really no excuse for ignorance for any of us. We need to know each other's history because the people in power are making a plan for another history for us. And we have to know what our real liberation battles are. And the past has voices that can tell us.
Walk, come on and walk, walk, yeah, walk. Walk with your mind on freedom. Walk, come on and talk. We gotta talk about freedom. Yeah, come on and talk. We're gonna talk with your mind on freedom. Talking about freedom, lesbians and gays. Yeah, talking about freedom with your mind on freedom. Come on and talk. Cause you know I woke up this morning with my mind. My mind, it was set on freedom. Yeah, you know I woke up this morning with my mind.
Form alliances with left and right-wing groups, but basically we're political moderates.
You think we're going to win the moderate middle in America?
Eventually, but don't hold your breath.
Okay. They're shouting undo 2, Amendment 2 in Colorado, which banned all gay rights laws, effectively getting rid of gay rights laws in Boulder, in Denver, and in Aspen. And that order, of course, as of today, is under an injunction. It can't be enforced. It may go to the Colorado Supreme Court, and they may get rid of it. But these kinds of initiatives bring up in as many as 11 states over the next 2 years.
How has it been with your reception here in Washington regarding the boycott in Colorado?
It's been really good. I've had a lot of positive remarks. Everything's been really positive. Everybody's been wonderful and nice.
Is the boycott successful in Colorado?
Yes and no. I think it has been in a lot of, but I actually think it's affected the gay community more than other because the gay community is who's boycotting.
And have you noticed an upscale and antagonism towards gays and lesbians since this?
I think there's some of that, but there's a lot of latent feeling all around the country, not just in Colorado.
You gonna turn it around?
You bet. You bet.
Tell the folks why we can't drink Coors.
A couple of reasons. One is it's one of the biggest corporations in Colorado. 2 is it's one of the most right-wing corporations in the United States, heavily funding anti-gay groups like the Heritage Foundation and Free Congress Foundation.
We don't want you to buy any products from Colorado. We don't want you to travel to Colorado. We don't want you to have conventions in Colorado. We don't want you to spend any money on Colorado until they repeal Amendment 2. It's ugly, hateful legislation.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Dan Brooks. I'm from New York City. I'm part of New York Boycott Colorado, a growing organization that's going to stop the hate where it began in Colorado. It's got to stop now. Sam Nunn's got to stop now. Bob Dole has got to stop now. Colin Powell has got to stop now. The hate, the bigotry, this Nazism has got to stop. We have to stop it in Colorado right now.
America, this day marks the return from exile of the gay and lesbian people. We are banished no more. We wander the wilderness of despair no more. We are afraid no more. For on this day, with love in our hearts, we have come out, and we have come out to reach out across America to build a bridge of understanding, a bridge of progress, a bridge as solid as steel, a bridge to a land where no one suffers prejudice because of their sexual orientation, their race, their gender, their religion, or their human difference. I've been asked by the march organizers to speak in 5 minutes about the far right. The far right, which threatens the construction of this bridge. The extremist right, which has targeted every one of you and me for extinction. The supremacist right, which seeks to redefine the very meaning of democracy. Language itself fails in this task, my friends, for to call our opponents the right states a profound untruth. They are wrong. They are wrong. They are wrong morally. They are wrong spiritually. And they are wrong politically.
I tell you, today we are here to pose this question. I believe the answer is this. We all believe in America that has not been yet. And in the words of Langston Hughes, I too sing America, the America that has never been yet, but yet must be.
I hope everybody stands up and gets counted for. I mean, that's how we beat it in Oregon. Everybody came out and just did it.
Well, we're all very proud of you around the country. All right, have a great day.
What do you say to other lesbians who are afraid of coming out of the closet? What do you want to tell them?
Be true to yourself. You'll be much happier for it. You may make less money, you may have to change jobs, but you will be much happier.
Thank you very much.
That's what matters.
What's the most memorable event or moment that stands out in your mind about this weekend?
It's probably yesterday as we were standing around the subway and everybody was coming up out of it. There were just hundreds and thousands of people coming here, and you knew that something special was going to happen.
And what about tomorrow? Where do you go from here?
Well, I'll continue. I guess I'm becoming more aware of our need to fight. I'm a professor, and so I came out to my students, and I support the students at our institution. And so I continue in my way to help things get better.
What's the one message that you want the people in Louisville to get from this march about our cause?
That we are united, even though we're separated. That we are united, and we will stay together on this issue. Oh, just coming out's not so difficult. A lot of people should do it. Feels good.
It is now 4 o'clock, and we're at the top of the Washington Monument. The march started at noon, but as of right now, the march is still continuing down its designated route.
Guys, you've been marching for 2.5 hours here, and we're only just in front of the White House. What do you make of all this today?
Well, we stood a lot today, actually. We didn't move too well in the beginning, so it was more standing than marching, actually.
It's a big show of support. I mean, I've never seen anything like this, and if they don't get something out of this, Bill and the rest of the damn people up there, then nothing's going to wake them.
This is where the march started at approximately noon. As you can see, there's still probably a good 5,000 people still wanting to get down the parade route. Just scoot around here. As you can see, it's just incredible. This is still just getting started for the march. Phenomenal crowd, people still marching. The march started at noon at the tidal pool of the Lincoln Memorial. And there are still contingencies from states starting off.
up to here on the list. We have got to go all the way down here and all the way down here, and that's what's got to go. Jim, what are you feeling out here today?
Feeling fabulous with all these people here. Shows the world who we are.
We'll go back around to where we just came from to continue this.
Yeah, who are we?
Who are we? We're everywhere. We're everybody. Right? Diversity is fabulous. The numbers are fabulous. It's a great day.
This is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 4 hours this parade's been going. And they're still marching. Going around this way. Goes down and around this corner.
San Francisco, open your golden gate. Here they are. It's 4 o'clock or something like that. What the hell time is it? Jesus Christ, it's only California. How are you?
Good.
An old veteran of the gay cable network, folks.
I had your job once.
Are you having a good time today?
I'm having a wonderful time. San Francisco's showing it.
It sure is.
We got off the ground, and how many are there?
Now, you know, we're pretty jaded, New York, San Francisco, but what impresses you here today?
The variety, the faces, a real picture of what we look like.
Yeah.
Just the volume alone, and the mood.
And you look like you just got out of the Civil War.
It is a war.
And you look great. It sure is. It is a civil war in the United States, and it's great to have us all in it together.
For civil rights.
Right.
The march continues this way, past the FBI building, the J. Edgar Hoover building. And then comes out there.
All right, now tell the rest of the country how to pass statewide gay and lesbian rights ordinances.
Very simple. Get these people involved. This was it.
You mean we're supposed to move all these people to other states and help them pass gay rights ordinances?
That's right. We're all open. We have jobs now because in Minnesota we have civil rights. Right. So we're open.
Congratulations, Minnesota!
This is where the march ends now, as they finally drain into the throngs of what I would dare to say is well over 1 million lesbian and gay and bisexual and gay-friendly people. Phenomenal. I will never see anything else like this in my lifetime. Truly history. Let's hope we don't have to see another one.
And America, do not be fooled by our loving spirit. Let no one doubt from this day forward our determination to take our rightful place. We will drive that message home again and again and again and again. Are you listening? Pat Buchanan. Do you get the message, Sam Nunn? We are coming home to Army bases in Georgia and to living rooms in California and to community centers in Vermont and to farms in Kansas and to factory floors in Ohio. America, are you listening? We are finally coming home. This is the decade we come home. We're coming home. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about Stonewall 25? What's going to be happening?
It's going to be the biggest international human rights and civil rights march in the history of the world. We're expecting between 1 and 2 million people to come in New York to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall Rebellion.
Right.
It's an international march. It'll be on the UN. There are international demands. And it's the 25th anniversary.
Great. What do you think about the march today?
It's pretty incredible.
The higher you build your bed,
wait a minute. It's tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Melissa Mixon. I'm from Connecticut. I'm here with my buds from Daytona Beach.
And Melissa has the distinction of being the absolute last marcher in this march.
Thank you, yes.
What's your message to the gay and lesbian America?
Keep fighting. We will be free.
The District of Columbia has estimated that the crowd size of this event is 1 million people. Because of history, we believe, the organizers of this event believe that they have probably underestimated the crowd size again. However, the National Park Service has released to the media its estimate of our crowd size, and it has told them 300,000. The message there is that federal insult and manipulation has not ended despite our recent victories. And we are here to say that this insult will not stand. You must go back and tell everyone you know what happened here today.
I hope that you will remember, as hard as it sometimes is, that to be part of this kind of a loving world community is not something that comes easy. We have to work at reaching our full human potential day after day, generation after generation. And if we are truly going to be a loving family, we have to learn how to combat racism. We have to learn how to stop sexism and violence against women. We have to learn how to make educating our children a major priority. We have to understand how to connect with peoples all over the world for a global peace movement. And we have to be in the forefront to help people understand how extraordinary it is to be loving, gay loving, lesbian loving, transgender loving, celibate loving, women loving, men loving, a family of lovers. We are a peaceful, loving people. We are a peaceful, loving people, and we are singing, singing for a life. We are a peaceful, loving people, and we are